Welcome to the Sports Show with Bob Spino, where a new NBA champion has been crowned. And wouldn't you know, it's the Milwaukee Bucks, the very team where 50 years ago, star players that came on this very show won it all. So what do you got to say about the happenings, Bob?
Well, you know what? My brother worked for the team, and I asked him today on the phone, what do you think? Because he was part of that whole 50-year thing, and he's really, really proud of them and happy that they won, and we are too. I mean, I know some people on that team and that won it last, and we're gonna have Marcus Johnson on, who's their sports announcer, who was on that team when my brother was the trainer, and we're gonna have him talk about it. And they're overjoyed. They're going crazy out there in Milwaukee. And I heard them talking on ESPN the other night. Go, where's Bob Dandridge? Where's John McLaughlin? Well, Bob was already on, and John's on his way on our show. So if ESPN wants to know where he is, come watch our show because they're here.
Yeah, we had Bob Dandridge, Junior Bridgman, and the trainer and manager, Pat McBride on, legends of the game. Bob Dandridge was the leading scorer for the entire decade of the 70s. So it's a pretty special thing that on the way to this title, we had these greats on here.
Yeah, you know what? It's really working out for us pretty good. It's almost like we handpicked the guys, and then they responded by winning. So that made us look really good.
So if any of you professional teams and players out there, if you want to win it all, maybe step up and show up on the sports show.
You come here. If that's the case.
See what happens.
Yeah, right. I mean, we seem to be picking them pretty well. UCLA made a deep run, too. We had a lot of them on. So.
Exactly. We had UCLA on heading into the Final Four, and they're right back on the scene. So we had Mike Scioscia, who's about to start the Olympics. They had a great preliminary round.
Right.
So who knows what waits for us in the future. But what I found pretty fascinating about the finals was we both had some aspects in our predictions right.
Yeah. You know what, Rob? I said the last time we filmed that Milwaukee would win the game 4 because we filmed before it, and they did. And I said that in order to win a game 5, they're going to have to go all out, play hard. And in the beginning, it didn't look like that was going to happen. Phoenix was destroying them. It was the second biggest lead blown in the finals in the history of the finals at home. They were up 16 points, Phoenix, and they blew it. But once the Bucks took over, they did exactly they played a perfect game, and you have to play a perfect game on the road. And you were right, Rob. You said they were going to win 4 in a row, and they did. You deserve the credit. And the Bucks did what they had to do, and they got a lot of help for Giannis that game. And then, then it was just an afterthought because I told you, in order for Milwaukee to win, they'd had to be in 6. It couldn't be in 7. They had to shorten that series, and they did. I remember I said on the last show, it's either Milwaukee in 6 or Phoenix in 7. But yeah, you called it. You said, I think they're going to win 4 straight. And they did.
Well, I'll admit, Bob, that was a bit of wishful thinking because I did really want the Bucks to win based on the fact we had Bob Dandridge, Junior Bridgman, and Pat McBride on here. So definitely wanted to have the Bucks put a stamp on the show. But do you recall what was the big turning point for Game 5 that really turned it over to the Bucks?
I would say that just them, Phoenix taking too many threes and playing soft and thinking and not realizing that the Bucks were playing intense the whole game. They played a complete game. And yeah, they did look flat in the very beginning, but once they started, and I knew that they were going to shoot better, even though they were on the road in Game 5, because in Game 4, even though they won it, they didn't they didn't shoot well. I mean, they won because they were home. Phoenix was winning most of that game in Game 4. And weirdly enough, I'm out at the bar watching the game, and I'm just laying back going, don't matter. Phoenix is winning the whole game right down to the last 2 minutes. I'm just sitting there going, Milwaukee's going to win the game. And the bartender comes, okay, hot shot, you want to bet? I go, no, I'm not going to bet you. I go, but you just sit there and watch. Milwaukee's going to pull the game out. And sure as heck, in the last 2 minutes, they turn around and pull the game out. But I knew that they didn't shoot well if that game was in Phoenix, because they shot so lousy. They'd have gotten torched, but it was at home and it saved them. And then once Game 5 came, I knew Milwaukee was going to shoot better. And I thought, well, the only way Phoenix can blow this is if they take them lightly, because Milwaukee was playing all out. They knew if they didn't win the game 5, it was over. Because even if they won a game 6, they would have went to game 7 and lost. They knew it. And so they played hard. And then once they started getting close and they started narrowing the 16 points, you could see in their face that they got more and more intense. And they were like, now it's ours. We got it. They can't stop us. And as soon as they took that lead, they really never gave it up after that. Everybody chipped in that night. They all did well. And then in the game 6 at home, that's when you get, guys you don't normally think. That's Bobby Portis stepped up. What'd he do the rest of the series? Nothing. But it's a home game, and even the subs play better at home. And those, if the series goes long enough, that guy off the bench will come out of nowhere and save your neck. And that's what happened with Portis. And then it was just Giannis the rest of the way. I mean, he even made his foul. See, Giannis, when you practice a little, this is what I always said. Like, people were like, because they always talked about Wilt Chamberlain averaging 50 points a game for a whole season, because he did it in 1962. But he was a lousy foul shooter. Can you imagine if he was a good one, that he would just work on it a little bit? He would have averaged 70 a game, or maybe 75 for the whole year. That would have been his average for the whole year. I mean, it's real, because they fouled him all the time. He was always on the foul line. That is so important when you make your foul shots. I can't overemphasize the importance of a foul shot, because it's won and lost so many championships and big games in the history of the league. They're free shots. You got to be able to make them. And it doesn't take much. And I suspect Giannis was working hard on his foul shots, even in the post game. He's like, see, I can make my foul shots. Nobody said I could. Well, no offense, Giannis, up until the other night, you couldn't. And my guess is if it went to game 7, he would have started missing again. Because on the road, it's always tougher. Even Shaq, you're a Shaq fan. He always shot better at home on the foul line than he did on the road. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
No, the home team definitely has the advantage, and I believe your point was backed by the stats and the analytics. Something to the effect of 83% of the series wins were at home, right?
Right. I said the home team wins 82% of the time. And so the other night, I figured it out. I'm like, well, they played 6 games, and the home team won 5 of the 6. That win percentage is 83%. So it's right there. I mean, that's exactly what happened. And the NBA it's a home league. There's no doubt about it. It's always been since my brother was in it, probably long before that. And but that's what it's about. And that's why it was so important that Milwaukee had to win that game 5, because they knew they would have never won a game 7 on the road if it went that far. They might have played close. It might have been tight, but they were lost.
Well, it was clearly visible in game 5 when Phoenix blew the lead, that when Milwaukee took it, there was a noticeable difference in the determination level. It just oozed out of both teams, and it was the edge clearly went to Milwaukee, as obviously we saw, but they just took it. And when Phoenix blew the lead, when Phoenix lost, they blew the lead in the second quarter, right? Is that what happened? Or no, Milwaukee blew the lead, but they got the lead back.
Mm-hmm.
You could see in the Phoenix Suns the body language that they were defeated.
The fear came in their eyes, and Chris Paul was the biggest culprit. If you looked, he had that, I'm scared. That's the look he had, and you could see that he wasn't ready to win that game. He was scared, and he's lost many a playoff game before, and that sits on you, that does. If it keeps happening, like the Buffalo Bills, you start believing you're going to lose. Like when you get to the Super Bowl like they did, you can't let that get to you, because every game and every year and every day is different. You've got to just attack it. The players that succeed in anything, the people that succeed, not even sports, are the ones that are never afraid and have the confidence to go do it. The minute you become afraid, it's over.
Here is the mind killer, Bob, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And even Mitchell Butler said that on the show that self-doubt was the kryptonite of all basketball players.
It is. You just and you know what? It's the way you take it, because like the superstars, they take it a different way. They're like, "Oh, bring it on! I want it. I love this pressure." You know, I'll slow the game down in my head and I'll just win because I know how to do it. And that's another thing. Once you learn how to win, you always know how to do it. You see, it's almost like reading a book. You know what's in the book once you read it. So you can turn it on and off at any time, in any place, in any situation, no matter what the game is and what the stakes are. Once you learn how to do it, that's when you become elite. And that's what all Jordan and all those other guys had. You know, and they could turn it on and off like a switch once because they learned it like that. You know, they got it down. So, and the other guys, they never get that. They just get scareder and scareder and they fall short. That's what happens.
You could tell the game 5 decided the series. Phoenix played with a lot of confidence throughout the playoffs until that game.
Until that game. But in the beginning of that game, they were roasting them. It really looked like
they were rolling.
Yeah, they were rolling. But the Bucks they wanted to win more that night. And that, coupled with the fact they shot better from the game before, that put them over. They didn't take no for an answer. It's just who wanted to win more. And that's the only way you can beat a home court advantage. If you're a road team, you have to want to win more. I told you, it's the star and the determination against the home court. One's going to fall. And this time, Milwaukee made the home court fall because they won on the road. So that's what happens.
That's what happens. So what's your crystal ball outlook for the future of these two franchises, the Suns and the Bucks?
Well, I think the Bucks will stay together now. I think that, and I know LeBron was at the game, or one of the games anyway. I saw him. He probably was, even though he was kind of rooting for Giannis, I kind of think he was rooting against him because he knew if he got out, you know, the little devil that he is, he would have whispered in his ear, "Now you can come play for me," you know. But now that, and it's funny because Giannis said on the post game, he goes, "Oh, I'm out of here, Milwaukee. I'm done. I'm leaving." And everybody was started laughing. He started laughing. In other words, I'm never leaving now, you know, which would probably made LeBron upset. But I think they're going to keep it together and try again. And I know the coach was on the hot seat more than people know. He was on the hot seat 2 years ago. They were thinking about getting rid of him, even though they were the best team. When they didn't win it, they were pretty upset.
And they had the best record, right?
They did. They were the best team. Even last year when Miami took them out in the Dome, they were a great team, you know, and they lost. I think they've lost in 5, and then Giannis got hurt in the Dome. But so they're together, and I love the fact that Lopez dunked that monster dunk.
That was great. Yeah, I was rooting for him. Now, folks, Bob and I met Lopez and his father at a Brooklyn Nets game. So to watch Lopez get revenge against the Nets and take home the title, it was great.
Yeah, it was. He's a great person, and you know, he was with the Nets. He was the best guy, even in the Meadowlands days. And I used to always go there, and they never got him any players. And I kept telling my friend Dave, I'm like, I really would love in Boston if he would go there. And he'd be like, "Oh, we're not going to trade him to you because he's a Net fan, you know." But I know my talent. I know who I wanted. And that guy was a great player. And he never wanted to leave when they traded him. He's hurt, very hurt. And he ended up sticking with it. He ended up on the Bucks and he won it. And that dunk kind of said, you know what, Nets? And I finally, this is what you didn't want to get me. I'm going to put that dunk down with authority and prove my worth, which he didn't have to because with the Nets, he proved it every night anyway. He was a great player. And
a solid 7-footer, can hit the deep shot, strong, and I mean he's only 33. He can give some more years to the franchise. Yeah, right.
And you know what? He doesn't even need to take the threes. When he was with the Nets, everything was inside, and he was amazing. They couldn't stop him. I mean, you know, he was a great player, and I'm really glad he won it. I really am. And I'm glad for his family. I'm glad for the whole thing. Drew Holiday. UCLA, that's another guy. That's 5 now.
Oh, he was the game 5. Him and Middleton were just game 5 studs.
Yeah, right. And Drew's a great player. I still remember him when he beat VCU in Philadelphia. I was at the game. He hit the game-winning shot at the buzzer. He beat Shaka back then, and you know what I mean? And we've had 5 now. I was looking at the list that have won the title in the last couple of years from UCLA. Kevin Love, now Drew, and I don't remember who else is on the list, but there was a bunch of them, and there's 5 of them that won in the last couple of years from UCLA. We're pretty proud of that.
So congratulations to the UCLA vets in the NBA and the future players. You guys are looking good, Bob, as we said in previous shows.
Yeah.
So how about the Suns? Are they something to look forward to in the future? Are they going to stay together?
Yeah, they're young. Well, Chris Paul's not going to be part of the future. He's getting older, but Booker's great. I didn't even remember he went to Kentucky in college. He never played hardly. I don't know what Calipari was thinking when he had all those guards that couldn't shoot, because Booker is really a great shooter, and a great player. But they got a good future. They got a great center. Aton's really good. So I think that they're going to be around for a while. They're a young team, and it's sad they didn't win, because they never won it. But the Bucks haven't won in 50 years either. So, and I have ties to them. So we were kind of happy about that.